Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to follow up on a question that I posed to the government in May relating to the Prime Minister's financial holdings, potential conflicts of interest, and his total lack of transparency concerning these matters. At the time, the Prime Minister was hiding behind an ethics loophole in Canada's ethics laws by hiding his assets from public disclosure. Finally, in July, the Prime Minister's ethics disclosure was quietly released. Canadians deserve to have the assurance that policy decisions made by the Prime Minister in no way further his private interests. And from that standpoint, the Prime Minister's ethics disclosure is completely inadequate insofar as it provides a vague outline of the Prime Minister's financial interests, but not the full and complete picture. More specifically, the Prime Minister continues to hide the full extent of his financial interests in the trillion-dollar investment firm Brookfield Asset Management, of which he served not only as board chair, but as head of transition investing. The National Post reported that during the time that the Prime Minister served as Brookfield's head of transition investing, he co-led efforts to raise capital for two very large clean energy funds, the Global Transition Fund and the Second Global Transition Fund, and he was also involved in raising funds for a third Brookfield investment fund shortly before he ran for the leadership of the Liberal Party to become the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, why does that matter? Well, very simply because according to the Prime Minister's ethics disclosure, he is entitled to carried interest payments from these funds worth potentially tens of millions of dollars. Now, to be clear, carried interest payments are essentially bonus pay based upon the performance of these investment funds. What is completely lacking from the Prime Minister's ethics disclosures are which companies the Prime Minister's performance pay is tied to. Now, the Prime Minister will say, there's nothing to see here, everything is on the up and up, because he has set up a blind trust. But I say, what good is a blind trust when the Prime Minister knows the companies that these funds are invested in and therefore knows which public policy decisions may impact upon their profitability, which in turn is tied directly to the value of the Prime Minister's future performance pay? When the Prime Minister talks about a blind trust, it isn't the Prime Minister who is blind, it is Canadians who are blind. It is Canadians who are left in the dark in respect of a multitude of potential conflicts of interest involving the Prime Minister in such public policy areas as transport, finance, and energy and infrastructure. Canadians deserve transparency, they deserve disclosure. I'm simply asking for the Prime Minister to be transparent, to come clean, and disclose all of his financial interests. Why won't he?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and as Prime Ministers before him, he does and has put things into blind trust and is being transparent. I'm just trying to provide some sense of accountability for and transparency in terms of the motivation from the Conservative Party of Canada as to why they continuously attack the personalities as opposed to wanting to deal with substantial public policy. And that's what I find really quite unfortunate. We should actually be encouraging individuals from all the different sectors of society to get engaged in politics and not have to worry about having, character assassination done on him or her if they're actually put into a position where they're making substantive policy decisions. If that's your sole interest, then put in an application to become Canada's next ethics commissioner. Thank you, Mr.